Hey, friends. Happy Friday. Sorry for being a couple minutes late. Mercury retrograde has been bringing some very, very, very special tweaks to the tech world. Let me know if you've been experiencing the same. But literally, from the day that Mercury retrograde started, it started to get glitchy. So, thank you for your patience. I'm going to share this out. So, I would love it if you guys would also share this out to anyone that you feel has. We're going to do a practice today called mantra meditation. This is really good for people. I talked about this in my OCD video, for people with OCD, for people with racing thoughts, with like their minds kind of feeling scattered and all over the place, really being stuck in your ego. Anybody who you feel could benefit from that kind of guidance, please share this out so that lots of people can be helped today. Okay, so welcome to Therapeutic Wisdom from the AKASH. If you have not been here before, please say hello and where you're tuning in from. If you have been here before, please say hello and where you're tuning in from. Therapeutic Wisdom from the AKASH. I bring in every week on Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern wisdom from the Akashic Records on topics that we may get stuck in as humans. So that could be mental illness. It could be any kind of emotional dis-ease or issues that we run into on a regular basis that we have trouble managing with just our human, right? So we ask for divine wisdom. We ask for divine insight in terms of how we can shift and change on this earth to really maximize the potential that we have for living a life of joy and ease and flow. So definitely say hello so I can make sure that the comments are working. If you guys haven't been to Awoken TV before, welcome. It's so nice to have you. Awoken TV you can find on www.awoken.tv. You can also find it on the App Store. And it's really a place with light workers and conscious filmmakers. There's films available, there's other shows available like this one, and there's courses that you can sign up for as well. So it's like a spiritual and metaphysical Netflix. Okay, so thank you for joining me here. If you are joining me on Emerge Healing and Wellness or the Akashic Academy, I'm not going to see your comments unless you post them on the Awoken TV Facebook page. I will see them when we're not live, but I will not see them while I'm live. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see and hear me considering the Mercury retrograde goodness. It looks like I'm a little glitchy. I'm trying to tune on my phone too. So anyway, so let me know if you're having trouble hearing or seeing me. All right. So what is mantra meditation? Mantra meditation is really an opportunity that we have to bypass the ego. Okay. I learned mantra meditation initially from Nick Pereira, Nakula Das Ministries, and I would definitely encourage you to follow him because he is definitely salt of the earth, true spiritual warrior, and an example of somebody who's really of spiritual service, just full-hearted service. So repeating mantras is a devotional practice. It can be a devotional practice. I think it is a devotional practice to ourselves personally. It's also can be a devotional practice to a deity or to spirit, okay, or to the universe. But what makes mantra meditation so effective, especially for people whose thoughts are racing or people who feel all jumbled and confused in their minds, is that it bypasses the ego if you use a mantra that is not in your native language. So very often in the spiritual world, we use Sanskrit mantras. So something like Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, which is the mantra for Ganesha, who's the remover of obstacles. So when we chant this, our ego can't talk back to it. Like if I chant, I am so loving, I am so special, I am so compassionate, even if I believe that to some degree, my ego is going to fight back against it with some of the limiting beliefs or conditioning that I've had if I haven't been on the healing path for a while. So it can be really helpful to recite mantras that we know we're internalizing not only their vibration when we're speaking out loud, but we're also internalizing their meaning without having our ego bypass it. Because language is a human construct, right? Language is not something that was created by the universe. It's not necessarily the way that spirit and the Akashic records communicate with us. So they're able to get us the message that we need by using Sanskrit words, even if we're not fluent in that language. Okay. So knowing that the energetic benefits are still being integrated either through heightening our frequency by speaking them out loud, the frequency of the words themselves, the incantation that we're using. So, for instance, if I am chanting Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, I can say that out loud just like that. I can say it quickly, which is going to amplify and activate my energy, or I can really slow it down and sink into it, which is going to sink more deeply into the tissue. And it's going to allow my parasympathetic nervous system to kick in, my relaxation response to kick in, and I'm going to feel nice and chill. Okay, so there's a couple different ways that you can use that. The other thing is how loudly you speak it. Typically, when we use mantra meditation, we start out with a whisper, and then that allows it to gently get integrated into our field. So we start out by whispering, Gam Ganapataye Namaha. And then you can get louder and louder and louder so that you're speaking it more boldly, increasing your frequency each time. So that's one of the ways that we integrate it in our system is by using volume, by using speed, and we can also sing it. So when we're using a melody, that's a different way that we're integrating it into our system. And if you've worked with me before, you know how much I appreciate and believe in sound healing and the powerful healing capability or capacity of sound, right? And when we create sound, either with our voices or with an instrument or listening to music, the atoms and the molecules. Hi, Donnie. Thanks for being here. And thank you for saying hello so that I know that the comments are working. How am I doing in terms of glitchiness? Because this Mercury retrograde is special this time around. It's been a little glitchy the past 5 days-ish. So anyway, I was talking about incantation and melody, I believe. So when we bring the melody in, we can kind of ride on the melody and make it nice and easy and smooth for ourselves, right? And when we create this sound, the atoms and the molecules in the air around us start to vibrate. Okay. And when they vibrate at a certain frequency, that's when we start to be able to pick up the sound of somebody's voice or the sound of the instrument that they're making. So these atoms and molecules start to vibrate, and then they create a wave. They kind of bind to one another. They start to move, the ones around them start to move, and they end up coming into sync with one another, and they create waves. These waves enter our eardrum, enter our ear canal, you should say. They start to vibrate our eardrum, which activates the fluid in our inner ear. That fluid in our inner ear communicates with our brain. Our brain receives that frequency and distributes it to the rest of our body. So that's how sound healing can be so effective, because it's going straight into our ear, which is activating our brain, which is sending the signal to the rest of our body. So it's like we're putting one of those stim machines that you would get at the chiropractor for pain or for discomfort anywhere in your system or in your field. You're actually placing a vibrational frequency on your physical body when you're using a stim machine. And with sound, we're doing the same thing, but it's just not as tangible. Okay? So for instance, I'll play my drum over here in the corner, and all the way across the room, pictures are going to fall off the wall because it's created that wave of energy that's impacting the other areas in my home or the other areas within my vicinity. Okay? So this is how energy works. This is also how we can spread good vibes to other people. When our vibration is higher, we create a ripple effect in our aura, and that gets felt by the people who are around us. Okay? So mantra meditation is cool because it combines that sound healing in addition to the cognitive piece, which is bypassing the ego. So who here has mala beads? Raise your hand if you have mala beads. Mala beads, I should have brought one with me. I have a million of them. But mala necklaces, the traditional meditation malas, have 108 beads on them. So that's the recommendation, is to sit down with a 108 bead mala, and as you repeat each mantra, you're going to move a bead each time. So I have beads here in front of me. I touch one, and if I do the Hare Krishna mantra, I'll recite that. Then after I'm done with that, I'll move on to the next repetition. And you just follow your bead mala around until you get to the end. And there's usually like a tassel or a connecting bead, like a decorative bead at the end that's a little larger, so that you know with your fingers, if you have your eyes closed for your mantra meditation, when you get to the end and you know you're done. So that's considered one cycle. I have to be honest, I think I've done 108 maybe a couple times. So it's not something that I have done on a consistent basis. I usually just follow it intuitively and do the number that feels intuitively guided and led in that moment. But if you really want to be true to form, sit there for 108 repetitions of your mantra, keeping your spine straight, which the best way to keep your spine straight is to tuck your tailbone in a little bit, tuck your chin a little bit to really lengthen that spine. We talked about that a little bit last week in our breathwork practice on therapeutic wisdom from the AKASH. Okay, so you can check that out if you want some more tips on moving your prana. But I find that mantra meditation is phenomenal for people with OCD or for racing thoughts because you're already very used to having an obsessive nature quality to your thoughts, right? Having them constantly run through your mind. So basically what you're doing is you're allowing your mind to continue doing that, which is a gift, right? You're saying, sure, go ahead. You can keep obsessing. You're just going to be repeating something that is truly offering you healing and is allowing you to shift. So you're just replacing it with something that is, so if I replace a negative thought that I might be having with, I feel strong and resilient, we know that my ego is going to talk back to that. I can say I feel strong and resilient a bunch of times and repeat that as well, but there's always going to be some level of resistance there if you don't fully believe it, or if you haven't cleared the limiting beliefs that are in the way or the obstacles that might be in the way. Okay. So, it's really good to use something like in Sanskrit or in any language that you're not fluent in. Okay, because then you're not going to get as much of that egoic resistance. You're going to feel more in ease and flow. And especially that's helpful at the beginning so that you can get accustomed to doing this and not feel frustrated and want to throw in the towel. Okay, but you'll find that after you recite these mantras over even a period of 2 minutes, to be honest with you, if you set a timer for 2 minutes, you really start to go into this Zen state. And it's so nice. You can really feel it. And then once you're in the groove, even after you've done it for like 2 minutes, you don't want to stop. Like you just want to keep going. Okay. So we've talked about speaking the mantras. We've talked about the different speed, the melodies you can add to it. And there's a bunch of those on whatever you listen to, whether it's Apple Music or Spotify or YouTube. You can find mantra meditations pretty much anywhere and find a melody that you like. I have a whole playlist that I've created on Spotify, and you can look it up under Kirtan as well. Hi Donna, good morning. You can look it up under Kirtan as well, which is basically like a call and response singing or chanting, okay? So you can listen to those to find your melodies, or you can speak it out loud, or you can play with the tone, you can play with the speed, you can play with the depth of the sound. You can also use mantra meditation alongside of playing a singing bowl or playing another instrument, or like a drum would be good because then you can still use your voice if you'd like to chant along with it. Okay. So you can combine this modality with a lot of other ones. Another good one with mantra meditation is to write it down. Okay. So you can take a mantra, and this one is actually, there's a little bit more flexibility with this one in terms of not using the Sanskrit mantras. Okay. So you can use traditional mantras like an affirmation or something like, I feel strong and resilient, when you're doing writing. Okay. Because anytime that we write and journal, we're placing it into our reality at a higher level. So you can write down the Sanskrit mantra 50 times is the recommendation at a minimum. You can write down another mantra or affirmation. So the idea with this is when you are doing written meditations, you want to write as small and neatly as possible. Really tiny words, because you want to be, when you're writing, not just this practice of, oh, I'm just writing this out because I have to write 50 things, right? You want to be very intentional about it and very focused, because meditation is a very focused practice. It's actually a very challenging thing to do if you have a migraine or a really bad headache, because it does require a decent amount of focus, and focus here on your third eye, right between your eyes, okay? So when you're writing, you want to try to focus, make it really tiny and really, really neat. So take your time. It doesn't have to be fast. You can set a timer if you'd like, so that you can say, all right, I want to do this for 5 minutes, or I want to do this for 7 minutes, or something like that. Or you can just do it until you're intuitively led to feel, you know what, I'm going to stop and breathe. I always do everything intuitively led. I start to write, and then I'll pause and I'll take a deep breath in. Just kind of recenter my energy, check back in with where I am with things, and then I'll continue writing. Okay? So I'm just going to chant a little bit for you guys this morning so that you have an example of what mantra meditation looks like. And I'm going to copy and paste here. I typed it out for you so that I didn't have to spend all of our time typing. But I'm going to type in the Hare Krishna mantra. Let me know if any of you have practiced the Hare Krishna mantra. So I'm just going to repeat this a few times. We're not going to do this going on and on and on, but I'm going to repeat this a few times for you. This is another one where this entire mantra is considered one repetition, okay? And then you would be doing this 108 times ideally if you wanted to do it the traditional way. Once again, don't put pressure on yourself. And the other thing I should say is that doing this really early in the morning before sunrise is the ideal time to do it. Again, I've only done that a few times myself, but it's the ideal time to do it because you're really calling in your guides to assist you for the day. You're activating your energy field for the day. You're centering yourself, you're setting an intention, and you're allowing yourself to receive and connect to the universe before the day begins, okay? So starting us off on a nice fresh foot, but the veil is also thinner between the spiritual world and the earthly world between, let's say, 4 and 6 o'clock in the morning, or 3 and 6 o'clock in the morning, I believe it is. So, but I don't encourage any of you to get up at 3. You can get up at 4, maybe 5. Try it out. Let me know if you're successful. All right, so let's just close our eyes and take a few breaths to activate our parasympathetic nervous system. Straightening that spine by tucking your tailbone and tucking your chin just a little bit. Another deep breath in all the way to the base of your spine. Breathing out very slowly. And another deep breath in, expanding your heart space in the front and the back and pausing at the top. Take another deep breath in to add on to that one. So you're filled to your fullest capacity. Hold and breathe out slowly. And I'm going to start chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. And you guys can follow after me, or you can just listen in and close your eyes. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So let me know what experience you guys have had with that mantra. One of my other favorites is, I'm going to type it in for you, Om Aim Saraswatiye Namaha. I have to pronounce or write this correctly. Saraswati. Okay. So I like that one. Oh, I might have spelled that wrong. But I like that one because that one's about calling in our creativity and our passion and really activating that part of us. We're calling on the goddess Saraswati, which helps us with activating passion and creativity. The other one I like is the one I mentioned earlier, which is the Ganesha mantra, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. And that one is for removing obstacles. So if you're feeling blocks, if you're feeling stuck, that's a good one to chant to move through any obstacles or resistance. Um, there's also mantras associated with each of our chakras. And I'm not going to go into all of those today, but I'm happy to talk about the chakra system the next time I go live. If you guys would like, you can let me know your feedback on that. I'm live here every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. So there's a seed sound mantra for each of our chakras. And our chakras are our energy centers moving along our spine from our root at the base of our spine all the way up to our crown above the top of our head. And when we chant these seed sound mantras, Om is one of them. These seed sound mantras make up all of the sound in the universe. So when we chant them and we focus on these specific chakra points, we are realigning our energy and our frequency when we use those mantras as well. And I encourage when we use those to really hold them for long periods of time to really align. And then if you want to activate after that, you can speed them up. So the difference would be if I'm holding Om, that would be the opportunity to activate my parasympathetic nervous system, to chill me out, to calm me down, to center my energy. I recommend starting with something slow before you go to something that's more activating, which is more rapid. Om, 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 right? And when we're combining that with the breath, it can become a very active practice, okay? So let me know if you guys have any questions about mantra meditation. I wanted you to know too that when you're writing these down, you can use them as journal prompts. Like you can use your mantras as journal prompts and just continue to free write, even if it's a Sanskrit mantra that you don't fully understand the meaning of. And sometimes it makes sense to look up the meaning, and sometimes it doesn't matter, because really what we're doing is we're trusting, right? We're trusting the universe. We're trusting the messages to come through. We're trusting the energy to move and shift. And it doesn't always matter, but you can write it down regardless and use it as a journal prompt to just free write, because your intuition, your soul knows what it means. Your soul knows its significance in that moment. And so it will bring through wisdom from your intuition or from spirit to be able to guide you for that day or to be able to guide you for what you need in the moment. Okay. So let me know if any questions come up. You're welcome to tag me in any comments, and I'm happy to answer them and come back and reply after this live. I have a course coming up starting next week called Thrive, and I'm holding it with Daisy Farrell. She's a psychic medium and healer. And we are so excited to bring this to the world because both of us have struggled with chronic illness and our own degree of managing the emotional upset that goes along with that as well. And we have really explored a lot of alternative modalities to the medical world because we only got so far in traditional practice, and feel very strongly and have learned through our own healing the necessity of healing at all layers: physical, emotional, mental, energetic, spiritual, relational, behavioral. And so we have a week dedicated to each of these layers so that you can really get to know your physical body, your wholeness, right? Which includes all of those layers at a very intimate level so that you can be preventive. The whole goal of this kind of work is not just to heal, but also to be preventive for any kind of dis-ease going forward. Okay. So I really encourage you to check out that course. I have the link in the description of this video, and I'll also place it in the comments so you can check it out. Feel free to send me a private message and ask me any questions, or let me know what's going on with you physically or emotionally so that we can really identify how spirit and the Akashic records can best assist you with being able to heal and move forward. And what I promise you is that you will leave this course with a greater level of empowerment, being able to feel a sense of compassion and appreciation for your physical body, for your emotions, for some of the even negativity that has unfolded in your life. Because once we get to a space of gratitude, appreciation, and compassion for the challenges that come up in our human existence, we know that we've gotten to a higher frequency. We know that we've up leveled. We know that we've committed to our healing at a significant level in a significant way, and that we're really moving forward in the right path. Okay? So let me know. I'll place that link in the comments. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.